It's the mask of fear.
It is going to be that kind of show, people. Nothing is working correctly, at least not on my end. So, welcome to the Mask of Fear Live. You might notice that we're a little naked tonight, not putting up many graphics or no specific show topics. If you're in here while the show is live, we suggest you push the conversation in whatever direction you'd like. Anything you guys want to talk about, we are game tonight. We are joined by a special guest tonight. We'll get to him momentarily. Usually I hide him in the green room, but it's a lot harder to do that from the phone. So he's here in all of his glory. First up, though, the Grand Moff himself, Randy. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Work was extremely tiring today. Got a new laptop at work, so trying to set that up and get everything squared away is always so much fun. So, on top of dealing with whatever lovely things that come my way during the day, it's so to have this happen tonight and be able to just kind of chill and bro out. It's much needed, all things considered.
I don't know if Tommy's heard this one. If he hasn't, my apologies. But it's Mr. Fabulous Threesome himself, Johnny V. What's going on?
Oh man, the only thing going good tonight is the Blue Jays offense.
It's the third
Nah,
inning. I'm
screw-
not counting. Toronto team, third inning. I'm sorry. I'm not counting my chickens yet.
I have watched this series enough that the Yankees are deflated right now. They are just the air is coming out of that faster than a Tom Brady football 10 years ago.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. That being said, Tom Brady made pretty good use of those. So, alrighty, here we go. Man, myth, legend, gracing us with his presence tonight, and he'll get to bring whatever fandom topic he wants to the table tonight because it's that kind of night. It's kind of like open mic night. It's Tommy B. What's going on, man?
I'm hanging in there, buddy. Happy Tuesday. It is nearly 9:15, which means typically I'm like half asleep right now, but I'm actually pretty awake. I got a new screwed up work schedule. It's fun. It's funky. Technically, I'm not like in my office ish tomorrow until like 9 o'clock in the morning. So, but I'm here. I'm surviving. Let's talk stuff. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk stuff. Tommy, you're the guest man, so I'm going to send it over to you. What do you want to discuss tonight?
You guys play any good RPGs recently or anything?
Good, yes. Released recently, no.
I'm picking up. I always try to put a little bit of money to the side, and so I get them. For the not that there's such a thing anymore as a good pre-order bonus, but I'm picking up the new Pokemon game next week. It's called Legends ZA, and did I say next week? I think it's actually nope. It's next week, and yeah, it's really really hot right now. They are bringing back some old game mechanics called Mega Evolution, introducing some new stuff. So it's going to be interesting. They're simultaneously releasing it on the new Switch 2, which I have not purchased because I am not throwing that much money around for a new console, and the old school boring Switch that the rest of us have. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Any good RPGs recently?
So that topic in particular, I'll let these two chime in a second, interests me because we've talked about possibly getting, because we don't have a docking station for our Switch, so the kids like just play handheld. So we thought about getting them the Switch too, with like the Mario Kart game, and I'm sure there's other games. But I wasn't sure how kid friendly it would be. Like the Pokemon game was another one, right? Like both my kids like Pokemon. Um, so I'm trying to determine if
What do you mean
it
by
can
kid
still be.
friendly?
Can a 5-year-old play it and have fun?
That's a very, very good question. I mean, there are a cajillion kids out there these days that are iPad kids. So I sure think they find a way to make use of these devices. Are they going to have as much fun as, say, one of, say your oldest? Who knows, right? That's a good question.
What about you two? Any recent RPG play?
RPG, not really. Yeah, I've just been playing through the catalog, and the only really new thing I've been playing has been the last couple of weeks. I have put a ridiculous amount of hours into Crime Simulator.
I guess Johnny's planning for All Out Heist. Then I mean, I've seen stuff for that game. As far as for me, so it's not it's an RPG, but not really an RPG. Shooter looters, how they are. I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 4 lately, but the last RPG I do remember playing was KOTOR 2 on my Switch, and enjoying how underrated that game was.
Is the KOTOR reboot dead? Are they still supposed to be coming out with that?
From what I
Sorry, I'm
understand,
dying over here.
you're
Um,
don't die on us, damn.
It's not dead. Could it end up dead? Yeah. I mean, I suppose there is a
There is a precedent.
yeah, I suppose there's a chance that happens, but the last thing I heard was some of the team that was working on Jurassic Park Survival had moved over to Knights of the Old Republic. So would not be shocked. Like if they're in the pipeline still, that and the other one that's hotly debated is Star Wars Eclipse. That if they're in the pipeline still, both games might be saved for the big 2027 year-long celebration.
I thought Eclipse got canned. I think that was still a possibility.
No, very much in active development, man. And getting deeper all the time. They've been filming a bunch of stuff.
Wasn't it announced like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, it's a big task what they're doing with that game. If you've played Johnny, what are the ones I'm thinking of? Like Heavy Rain.
Quarry, Until Dawn, those types.
Yeah.
So with Quantic Dream, the biggest issue they came across was actually implementing action into the game, because a lot of the games they have, whether it's Indigo Prophecy, Heavy Rain, and some others, Detroit Become Human, a lot of it's all quick time events and just ways to use your controller. So adding lightsaber duels and things like that is very new for them. But the thing is in terms of story, I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be a great story, and it sounds like they've got at least a working combat system that should work for the game. So now it's just implementing everything and getting everything up to snuff. But I'm pretty sure that they can hit the 2027 mark. But I'd like to at least see a trailer or something just to kind of at least know it's not dead, even though we know it's not.
Randy, can you read this question?
Let's see. Sean, I don't know if you saw, but the Halloween game put out a card and said it will be dropping 3 more cards to celebrate the month. Do you think this means that they all got planned for this month? That's all they got planned for this month? Oh, maybe. I don't know what they have planned.
To our knowledge, and we've talked about this on the show before, I can't tell you what outlet it's going to come from, or if it's just going to be, Halloween game website or Halloween portal, or I imagine it'll be attached to something else, whether it's like a bloody disgusting thing or something along those lines. But I was told emphatically we are going to get to see the story mode this month. So read into that what you will, but I don't know how much that is. Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Is it a bunch of screenshots? Is it a big article? I don't know, but I was told specifically we would get to see some footage from the story mode. So we'll wait and see. It's still very early. Alrighty. You know, RPG wise, it's not an RPG. I mean, no, I don't think it's an RPG, anyways. But on the weekend, I had my oldest guy here, and usually we'll like try to do like a Gears of War night with the guys online when he's down if possible. But we just wanted it to be like a down low weekend, and we started playing Jedi Academy. So there's myself, my 17-year-old, and my 5-year-old. And we're all taking turns playing Jedi Academy. And we cruise through the, I guess the prologue, where you, I don't know who's played the story mode for this game, but you start off with Rosh, and he releases the droid at you, and Kyle Katarn like rips him a new one. But they send you out on your first missions. They send you out on your first mission, and it's not like ironclad what that mission has to be. It's just like a list of 5, I believe, and you have to beat 4 of the 5 missions to move on to the next batch of missions. So we chose this mission on Corellia, and it's like this air train thing, like a sky rail. And over the course of about 2 hours, none of us could beat this level on the beginner mode. It was not good.
Which one was it?
Jedi Academy.
No, which mission was it?
I believe it was Corellia, and you're on like this sky
You
rail
couldn't
thing.
beat the one on the tram?
If that's what it is, yeah, we kept like falling off, and it felt like the controls were like super touchy, and
Fighting the cultists like toward the end and all that.
I mean the cultists are kind of like all over the map, to be honest. We killed a few of them.
You fight one with a lightsaber for the first time toward the end of that map, don't you? Or no, actually, there's a few of them.
Yeah, there's a few of them, and the problem is not falling off, right? Like you can, that's it. You fall off and you die. And sometimes the last checkpoint is forever ago, and it just got to a point where we were like, "Yep, no more of this." And we thought we were gonna like at least beat a whole sector that day in a couple hours, and we didn't beat one friggin' map. It was a sad display.
Yeah. I remember that being a little bit pesky, trying not to fall off of it, especially if you're trying to just fool around and like trying force jumping and all that.
We're finding out why it's never over until it's over in sports, and our friend here, Johnny, has definitely spoken too soon.
Nah.
But we heard your groan. We heard your groan when they hit the double. Come on. What about you, Randy? What do you want to bring to the table tonight, man?
So I was thinking, we're in spooky season, right? And one of the things that I always try to do every October is find a horror game that I can play throughout the entire month. One year, my friends and I just played Friday the 13th every day. But there's, I've played like through Dead Island 2, Resident Evil 2. But this year, obviously kind of get excited for the Halloween game. I find myself kind of sort of getting into Dead by Daylight. And if you're just starting out now, you realize just how out of your depth you are. Because it's just absolutely the people are just merciless for the most part. They don't care if you're a noob or not. But that kind of made me think, what are your guys' go-to horror games for the spooky season? Doesn't it? So if you were just going to sit down and just play for the month of October, what would that game be? And what do you tend to try to strive for when you play those games?
And for me, in a picture perfect world, if Friday the 13th was still up, I'd be asking you guys to play that. With that down, I don't know if I have a go-to other than like I'm a classic Resident Evil guy. I haven't really been into the remakes all that much, but um, nothing at the moment, to be frank. Like that's how pivotal Friday the 13th was for me as a game.
I mean, for me, I'm always been, you know, one of the main types of games I play are like your survival crafting type games, and those lend themselves very well to the spooky season. There's so many like zombie survival craft games that those are typically what I go to this time of year. You know, for that, like, I was playing a bit of 7 Days the other day. 7 Days to Die. I'll probably play some Project Zomboid this month. So those are the type of games I go to. You know, the zombie survival craft games. Because they give you that little bit of everything. You know, you get your survival elements, your craft elements, and your zombie elements. Because sometimes it can be terrifying when you open a door and there's like 10 zombies in a room. You had no idea we're there, and now you got to fight your way out, or fight your way through. I love doing those things. Oh, that's gonna be another run.
So, one of the things for me, anyways, when it came to horror games is replay value. And some of them don't have a ton of replay value. Like, my cousin has his own YouTube channel, and he constantly replays through the Resident Evil games. And there's a market of people that want to see that, want to see how fast he can do it, and, finding all the little things. But, like, to me, that's not true replay value. True replay value is playing through something and then playing through it again and getting a different result out of it, getting different storylines out of it that's truly worth your time, not just getting like badges and crap. And I don't think there's anything like that out there right now. Like, I know Until Dawn did a remaster, I believe. Well, the last one might have been The Quarry. That was like that for me. That had like you could just play through it constantly, and yeah, I don't know. For me, I want a game with replay value, and they're hard to come by. You know what game that I'm not into though, and it's why you don't see me on here asking you guys to play, is Dead by Daylight. I liked it the first few times I played it. It was fun, but now just I don't know. It's the same thing, like it's the guys and the hooks, the guys and the hooks, the guys and the hooks, and I don't think Friday the 13th was like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a little bit different, but specifically the Friday the 13th game, like, yes, technically it's the same thing, but because there's not one set thing you're doing, you can kind of make each round your own, kind of like they're talking about with this Halloween game. And Dead by Daylight, in my opinion, doesn't offer that. Like, I know people love the different skins and the different maps, but I don't know. I never got out of Dead by Daylight what I got out of Friday the 13th.
I never really, got into the Dead by Daylight game because it was just so, like, to me, it wasn't special. Not in the sense of it just every round was basically the same. There was no variety. There was nothing, fancy going on, especially once you started getting like meta sweats. I just like, that's enough. I'm done here. I don't, like, it's the same game every round, and that's just not fun. Not in the least. Like, if you got it, if you had a lobby of friends, then it's different, obviously, because you're playing with your buddies, and even the shittiest games, can be fun when you're playing with your buddies. So that's really it. Like without that element, I just have never had any interest in Dead by Daylight. My brother used to play it all the time. He was huge into it, and then like I said, the meta sweats started and get crazy and chaotic, and he stopped playing it. And it just, it was fun until it wasn't, and I've never looked back. I haven't played it in, at this point, 7 years maybe. It's been a very long time since I've played it.
So, Tommy, have you gotten into any horror games, or are you just strictly kind of like Pokemon and some Star Wars here and there?
Be nice if there was some more Star Wars to actually talk about. Unfortunately, I played the Telltale first couple versions of The Walking Dead because I got them free. I never finished it though, which is unfortunate because I heard it ends kind of pretty good. I've never really been too into horror games. I did play, I'm pretty sure, most of the first Mass Effect. I think you could say that's got some shock value to it, some horror-ish.
Really good game.
Yeah. I've wanted to go back and play the was it a total remake or a remaster that they did?
It is a remaster with all the DLC, and it's all 3 games. You're talking about the Legendary Edition for Mass Effect.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and do that, but I've never gotten to it. But otherwise, I haven't played the Friday game. Dead by Daylight is just by title unappealing to me because we'll just say I've known some people who really like that game, and it's a bit of a turnoff to me. So that's just where I am.
I think we have
And
our
just to
assignment.
clarify, I don't mean present company.
I think we have our assignment. We need to find a horror game that Tommy likes.
We'll try Halloween in a bit.
Very true.
Little under a year. Tommy, something else fandom-wise you want to bring to the table, man? Open slate. Anything you want, pal.
What's the last thing you've seen from the MCU that you enjoyed? Is it Fantastic Four or is it something else?
I mean, I liked Fantastic Four, but I thought, oh my God, why can I not remember the name of the movie? Probably
Thunderbolts.
out here. Thunderbolts, yes. New Avengers, whatever. I thought that was fantastic. Probably the best time I've had in the MCU outside of Deadpool and Wolverine and No Way Home since Endgame, probably.
Come on, get it out. There you go.
Well, we know where Johnny's head is. Anyway, the
My
last
feed is so far ahead of his, it's not even funny.
I have been like pausing and I've been trying to queue it up. One of the I don't know if you guys are both sports guys, so you may know them, you may not. But have you ever heard of John Boy? John Boy Media?
name
No.
does not ring a bell.
You might have seen them like on the TikToks or the vibes. This is the guy that he'll lip read like umps and managers going at it and lip read them and try and figure out what they're saying. Well, anyway, I fell down the rabbit hole with them. It was one of the YouTube creators that I used to watch on Twitch joined their team, and the Warehouse games, if you've ever seen them, are fucking amazing. I love watching those in the middle of Floorball 5, which I love greatly. But it's they're live watching the game and doing a live reaction on YouTube simultaneously to the game. So I was queuing it up and watching with them at the same time. So I've paused and fast forward and tried to time it up so that I can get their reactions while watching the game, and it's not. So yeah, I am probably behind what is otherwise normal, but it's fine. I love watching those things.
I don't know if anyone else understood, but I didn't recognize a single thing that you just said, other than like the basics. Haven't heard of any of it. So, Rhino Destructo brings up one. Hellraiser is going to be the game. It looked good. When we looked at it, it looked good.
Yeah, I agree. The trailer definitely hooked me, and I will be curious to try it out when it finally comes out. Now, whether I pay full price for it or wait till it's at a on a discount, it was yet to be seen. But I mean, the way I look at it, it's a great franchise in general. I mean, not a ton of great movies, but overall, the story arc for most of that franchise is good, and I think that this has potential to be one of the better horror games we get in recent memory. So I'm excited for it.
That one caught me out when I first watched the trailer, just because I was not expecting, full on X-rated.
It's Clive Barker, man. They're not going to.
No, I get that.
that.
Like, if it had been a movie, I would have been perfectly like, okay, this is what you expect. I was not expecting that from the game. I was expecting it to have all the other elements, just not, 3 seconds into the trailer and you got a pair of bazongas staring at you down. I was not expecting that from a video game. But like, it looks interesting. We'll wait and see what it actually looks like, because I still don't think even in that trailer we got actual gameplay footage. I think it was all cinematics. There might have been gameplay footage, and I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
At the very end, there's some.
It was a little bit of gameplay. Okay, that's what I thought, but we didn't see very much of it at best. Like, so I mean, I feel like we've probably seen about as much of it as we've seen of the Halloween game so far, and it'll be interesting when it actually comes out and I can see it being played. If it ends up like in a Game Pass, then I can get it myself and try it myself. Otherwise, I'll find somebody on like Twitch or something that's playing it and get a look at it that way and go from there and make my decisions. But it's definitely on my watch list. Whether or not I get it or not will just come down to whether or not it looks fun and whether or not there's a community, because that's an important thing for a game like that.
So here's something for you guys that I think we might be able to actually get some back and forth on. I saw a post the other day, and I think we all might have to think about this one a little bit, except for me, because I already know my answer. Was there a movie when you were young that you saw way too young? And we can tie this directly to the horror genre if you feel so led. There are other reasons why you may have been too young to see that movie. But is there a movie that you saw way too young? Where is the psychological damage at?
Yeah, I would say I wasn't feeling good. I was very young. I had to be like, I don't know, maybe 5, 6. And I had fallen asleep on the couch and had like a face cloth on my head, and my parents must have been watching some movies, and a movie came on TV, and it was Jacob's Ladder. And let me tell you, not the movie for a 5-year-old.
That movie's a total mindfuck. So for a 5-year-old,
yes, it is.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
The bathtub scene was one of them. Sorry, not the bathtub. Yeah, no, the bathtub scene was one. The dance floor scene was another. It was
Is it like a slasher or?
No, it's like a psychological thriller.
Tim Robbins might be, right?
More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a soldier with PTSD, and you kind of go through. You see what he's like, what his mind has, how it's shattered and fragmented, and it's very vivid in a lot of the way it shows different imagery and different scenes of just where his mind is, and it's really one of those where you have to really sit there and pay attention, because it really does fuck with your head.
Someone ran out on the field. Camera's not showing the field, so I'm guessing that's what's happened.
It could be. They're not saying anything if it is.
saying something?
Based on the fans pointing and what have you, I'm going with yes. It just, for me, I think the one I think of when I think of movies I saw way earlier than I probably should have, probably The Exorcist.
Ooh.
I think I saw that one in like 96, maybe. So I would have been like 7. It just the music, everything about that movie was just disturbing to me when I remember seeing it, because we had the VHS, and I remember putting it in and watching it because for the most part my parents we had the VHS collection on the wall, right? So it was like you take a movie down, you watch it. There wasn't really much in the
That wall was glorious to look at.
it's still there. It's still put together, all the VHSs. There has been a lot of migration of some shelves from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray over the years, but the VHSs are still there. But like the horror movies would like go up near the top, right? So it's like if you can get it down, you get what you get. And I remember
Let me tell you, I
down.
remember another movie collection at your place.
I don't know which one you're referring to.
It explains the nickname you have, your newly founded nickname.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that.
The
collection.
adult collection.
Yeah.
No, this one was very different. If it's the one I think he's talking, are you talking about World War III? I don't know if you specifically.
No, I'm talking about what Randy's talking about.
No, I know that, but if you remember, it was World War III, I think 97, on VHS, home recorded, after the pay-per-view. Was not pay-per-view. Well, it was, but not wrestling.
I don't remember off the top of my head specifically that many
That one
details.
I do remember. I
clearly
assume that's
you
the one
do.
you're talking about. Yeah, I do. Recording tapes on VHS was very dangerous if you didn't label every tape properly.
Yeah.
Is a lesson that was learned in my household.
I had a NASCAR race turn into Red Shoe Diaries at one point, so.
Tommy's eyebrows went up in such a way that I don't know if he knows what that is or just contextually he's like assuming what that is.
He was.
I kind of want to know which it is, though. Is Tommy a fan of the Red Shoe, or was that just an eyebrow raise
I
of
misheard what it was.
Okay.
It's
Why-
like in my teen years, my young teen years, when no one was around. I mean, yeah. But let's see. So I always forget how much younger you guys are than I am. When you're talking like 96, I'm like, fuck, I was 18. So
I get that with my gaming
I was
friends
8.
online. There are people in my gaming community that are openly calling me dad.
oh,
just-
Eesh.
They're almost, let me put it this way, they are not much older than Zach is. Some of them anyway.
so my dad did not have a problem watching horror movies in front of me when I'd be visiting for the weekend. So at a young age, we'll say 4, 5, 6, I got to see Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Even at the tender age of 9, he's like, yeah, let's watch RoboCop. So it's like I've got to see it all growing up as a kid when I was hanging out with my dad. My mom, different story. But it could explain why I love horror as much as I do, but my uncle's heavily into it as well. But I don't remember anything traumatizing or anything that's really truly got me, except for maybe when I was. Now I know you guys may have heard of it, but the miniseries they did way back in the I think early to mid '80s, V. At the time, they had the peeling of the skin and things like that. And as 4 years old, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then, of course, you know how women have their face masks that they peel off. Well, when I'm a little kid and I'm traumatized by seeing this in V, and then I see my mom peeling off her face mask, I'm running screaming down the hall because obviously that's not something I should have seen at the time.
Nope.
But yeah, that it's a TV show that got me more than actually a movie. Hell, The Incredible Hulk got me, like Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby when I was a kid. That got me because I wasn't used to that sort of transformation on screen, even though, yes, it was TV magic and all. But when you're a little impressionable kid and you're seeing it for the first time and you know someone's angry and that's happening, you go, is that going to happen to anybody I care about? So it's like I said, it was TV that got me more than actual movies, which is crazy.
I know V more because of the they remade it like 10, maybe 15 years ago at this point. I think it was Elizabeth Mitchell, I think, in the starring role. So I know because of that, not because I have any memories of the original, because obviously it was before I was born.
So I got a couple of things I want to bring up here. One, I don't think Tommy is old enough to remember being in this time, but if you were a big Star Wars fan prior to the prequels coming out, do you remember when all you really had to watch that was easily accessible was the original trilogy, and you could find a couple of like the Droids VHSs or the Ewoks VHSs at certain stores? Let me tell you, they were not great times as a Star Wars fan. If you didn't,
It
It was
a different-
if you
slim
didn't have
pickings.
patience.
I was very young, but I do remember.
I wasn't at a point where I was into reading books, and so I had the original trilogy. I had a Droids VHS, which I think had like 3 episodes on it or something, and then I had a Ewoks VHS. But the problem is, my dad told me in like 1996 the prequel trilogy was happening. So 97 thankfully brought the special editions, which kind of cut down that wait time, but you still had 2 more years. And it was like, it's something that you've just gotten into and you're super passionate about, and all you have is that. Like, I do think sometimes we take for granted at least how much Star Wars content we have, and a lot of it is good. There's some misses for sure, and far too frequently lately, and too many canceled projects and unneeded drama, but at least we have a wide variety of possibilities to go out there and watch if you have a
Are you about
Star
to say
Wars
you
it.
taped over a Star Wars VHS?
no.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
remember the
just-
Droids VHS tape you had. It was the only
Yeah.
thing that was different from me, because you were the only one I knew that had it or anything like it. So like it was just this weird thing. Because like I mean, to us,
It was
you know,
in
the
like a
series was
weird
before-
VHS case too. It wasn't like a standard.
Yeah, it was like the
VHS
half
case.
clamshell, like not full Disney, but like not
Yeah,
like a Coliseum Video WWF tape in
yeah,
the later years. But it was like in between. I think the Exorcist case I had was similar to it.
yeah.
They were weird.
So let me tell you, here's I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I'm just gonna come out with it. So I know that there's some crazy fucking bastards out there that like to watch Dragon Ball Z with the Japanese music. And I just have to ask, what the fuck is wrong with you all? Each and every one of you, I'm talking to you. I don't care if it's anyone on this panel or anyone out there. I'm watching through Dragon Ball Z with Jensen right now, and there are so many amazing moments that Bruce Faulkner saved on the American broadcast that add so much more to the scenes that are just either no music or completely out of place music on the Japanese version. And it's like, as a kid, you don't understand because like we're just getting the American version, so the Bruce Faulkner stuff is always there. But boy, you remove his score from that series, and that series is far less impactful, in my opinion. Like,
I don't
we
think
just
I've ever seen DBZ in Japanese. I don't think I have. I've seen Daima. I've seen parts
so,
of the
so
original
I'm
series.
talking like English dub still, but Japanese music.
That's the thing.
It's what Crunchyroll does it on. It's
Crunchyroll
stupid.
Crunchyroll has obviously the entire Dragon Ball series, and it's all in English dub. You can do it in all in English dub, but it has all the original Japanese music to it. I do remember when my first exposure to Dragon Ball Z was with, you know, Rock the Dragon and things like that. So like I remember the American score, and I remember some of the movies where they had like Disturbed and Papa Roach and things like that for in their score because that was just the music of the time. It was kind of cool in that respect. I don't hate the Japanese music, but I also can say there's certain things that songs that I'm like, wait a second, this isn't the theme song. I could have sworn it was something else, and come to find out it's because they took the American stuff out and put all the Japanese stuff back in. I will give them credit though; they show it unedited as it was intended when it was released in Japan. So, unlike some of the stuff they cut out in the American version, which obviously during that time it was going to happen anyway because we censor everything coming out of Japan half the time.
I
This
thought you guys were talking about or rather changing the background music, not the intros and
well, because you got to, if you think about it, the intro when you're a kid, for especially in the North American version of Dragon Ball Z, it was a completely different score. So like for me, going back and rewatching Dragon Ball Z on Crunchyroll, and I'm going, wait a second, this doesn't sound right to me because I was familiar with what the American version of it was. So, but again, I don't hate the Japanese background music in it at all, but it definitely makes a difference when you grew up one way and you're trying to adjust to another.
Yeah, just so we're clear, we are talking about the background music and the score of the show. Just like all of it. Think of like the moment where Goku turns Super Saiyan for the first time, the moment where we see Vegeta turn Super Saiyan against the androids. Those are massive, big time music spots in the American version that's just falls flat in the with the Japanese music, in my opinion. And one of them has like hardly any music at all. I think it's Vegeta's. But like for example, when like you'd be watching some Dragon Ball Z episodes, maybe you're binging it back to back, and the title of the episode comes up and it does the dun 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 dun, and like that's it. That's just the music that plays during the title. That's actually part of the score in the Japanese version during big moments that don't fit at all. It drives me mad how bad it is, and like I like that Crunchyroll offers all these different things, but another bone I have to pick with them is all the original awesome Dragon Ball Z movies. There's like 13 of them. Almost none of them are in English dub, and it's like, come on, like, what are we doing here? Yes, I'm bitching. Sorry.
Hey, you're allowed. It's part of your childhood that they've kind of altered on you, and I can understand the frustration there.
You fucking idiot. Sorry, not you, Randy. Sorry.
Fine,
My
fuck you
bad.
too, man.
yeah,
I mean, for me, I don't
changing
mind.
stuff like
You know,
that back in the day was common for all anime coming out of Japan.
yeah, I mean, I've gotten more used to it.
Now.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
What?
That's what I was talking about.
What?
Trying to be live on YouTube and have two people watching a playoff game at the same time, so we're getting constant updates without really the visuals.
A needless error that just led to the Yankees on second.
That makes sense then.
Tommy, got anything else you want to bring up tonight? We'll probably go for another 15, 20 minutes here, but what
Never
else you got
told
for
you
us?
about this movie.
Not inherently to bring up. No, I mean, yeah, nothing I want to specifically bring up.
That's cool because I said Tommy, but yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
In my defense, I got the game. I got you guys. I got
what
the
the fuck is
game.
this guy talking about?
I heard the Ani at the end, like the knee at the end, and it's like I assumed you were talking to me because did you ask Tommy that already?
Nani?
I thought you had.
Tommy's the guest.
Nah, bounce. No, I never told you guys my movie. My movie that I saw way too young.
Oh
My
yeah,
mom-
what was it?
My mom was really into horror and psychological films and all that stuff, so I saw that stuff from a very young age. It was just playing on TV. And movie I think I saw way too young was Cabin Fever. Now, that's not the scariest movie, but I'll tell you, it could happen. You really think about it, and some of the stuff they show, I mean, that's pretty scary. You know,
I
some
think one of
you
the
know,
guys from Boy Meets World's in that movie.
yeah,
Yep.
the whole flesh-eating virus type thing, and how it messes with people, and it makes them turn against each other, and yeah, it's nuts, man.
Well, from that movie, I got one word for you: pancakes. If
I
you remember,
haven't seen the movie in years, so I'm sure that has something
it's
to do with
it's
it.
the little boy that literally just screams pancakes and bites the dude and gets infected himself, essentially. No, the one thing I'll give Eli Roth credit for is the fact that he knows how to do his gore. So even though you're right, that is a very plausible thing that could happen. Luckily, well, at least fingers crossed, it'll never happen. But you're right, it is something that very well could happen, and it is scary to think about. Basically your body betraying you and eating itself for the most part.
This is all hitting a little close to home for someone with an autoimmune disease. But alrighty. Speaking of Eli Roth, whoever hasn't seen Thanksgiving at this point, give it a shot. It's a good flick. I really like it.
It
a
is
lot.
good.
Tommy, have you seen Thanksgiving yet?
No, should I have?
It's on.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
think
still on
so.
Netflix. If you remember, it was like a faux trailer on those Grindhouse movies that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did, and he turned, just like Machete. Eli Roth turned that little trailer into a movie.
I think Tommy would get a kick out of the Black Friday stuff there early on.
Is this a horror movie or a comedy?
Yes.
It's a horror movie, but there's definitely some dark comedic elements to it for
It's
sure.
going to be like people running over each other in the middle of a Walmart trying to get to the iPads.
I
and the
mean, you're not far off.
Yeah, there's some of that in there for sure. It's pretty funny. Picture almost like man, what's that fucking store or show called? With one of the main characters' names Jonah. They're in like a rip-off Walmart. Why the fuck can I not remember the name of this show? Tommy, you've seen it. Help me out.
Are you talking about like that? Was it Superstore or something like that?
Yes, he's talking
Superstore,
about
that's it.
Superstore.
That's it. Yes, it's be like Superstore gone bad. So that's what I would compare it to. All right, so I'm going to bring this topic up. Mandalorian and Grogu. Is there any chance we go see this thing and it blows us away and actually feels like a Star Wars cinematic experience? Like, is there still... Could this thing have a high ceiling? Because in my opinion, the answer is no. Doesn't mean that I won't like it. Doesn't mean I won't really like it. But I don't think this is the type of movie that's going to blow you away. What?
Define Star Wars.
In a galaxy far, far away.
What kind of question is define Star Wars? What are we on,
Listen.
the Supreme Court bench?
Now listen here, boyos, okay? Here's the thing. Some people say Star Wars and it feels like Star Wars, they are sometimes exclusively referring to 4 through 6 or the original trilogy. They're sometimes referring to 1 through 6. and sometimes they're referring to just to the Skywalker saga.
Well, it'd be your personal preference. When's the last time you were wooed by Star Wars? You know, the last time I was wooed by Star Wars was, I told you. I told you. Fucking guy.
I'll use a famous court precedence. I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it.
You know, I forget which came last. I think it was Solo of the movies to date. But I even enjoyed that. So, I
guess, Tommy, think of it this way. The first time that I'll say to define Star Wars, that first time you watch it and that's where you want it to be. Like it just engrossed you. It sucked you in. That feeling you get from watching Star Wars. I think that's where Sean was going when he said it, will it feel like Star Wars? And usually, it's obviously we've had movies and TV series that definitely don't feel like it. But like for you, what would you say would be your moment that to you it felt like Star Wars?
The problem is there's more Star Wars projects out there that I like than I dislike.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm able to enjoy things. Now, there are certainly things I have not enjoyed, and I could have done without The Rise of Skywalker. And although I'm one of the first people to complain about The Last Jedi, I will also be one of the first people to say that some of the scenes from that film, a while back we did like a top whatever number list, and several scenes from that film ended up on that list. So, but that was purely based on the action sequences. I think for me personally, there's a good chance I'm going to thoroughly enjoy The Mandalorian and Grogu. I wish they didn't name it that. But, I mean, I'll still give it a shot, and maybe I'll really, 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 really like it. They're going to have a hard time translating The Mandalorian onto the big screen. But it wouldn't be the first time that I see something with a title that I don't think is a very good title, and I end up enjoying. Hell, that just happened the other day. This is not Star Wars related, but I had some family visiting, and they started talking about that K-pop Demon Hunters thing that some of the kids.
Oh my God, my kids are obsessed, dude.
But hey, it's actually a little entertaining.
That music is just it's brainworm. It gets in there and will not leave.
Yeah, that last song there that they do, my Jensen is obsessed.
Yeah. So it's actually a little entertaining. You know, it was not what the title made me think it was going to be. Having said that, we'll see what we end up getting. I'm still crossing my fingers and I'm being hopeful. Whenever we see the movie, because I'm part of me still think, watch, we're going to be like 2 weeks from release, and they're going to say, we'll see it next year.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Are you sure they don't have a good track?
Andor was the last time I felt that way about Star Wars. Fairly recently, Andor season 2. I was like, oh man, I got my hype back. I need more. Andor was the last one. I definitely did not feel that way with The Acolyte. I didn't feel that way with any of the animated stuff. I liked Ahsoka, and I wanted to have that feeling, but I don't think I ever had that feeling. Probably night one of Kenobi, when Johnny and I woke up at an obscenely early time to watch it. Those first 2 episodes, after waiting that long, I wasn't disappointed. Like, I think the first episode of that series is really good, and the second one's not too bad. But I had the hype back there too. I don't get that, kiddie feeling very much anymore when it comes to that stuff. So it's nice to get that, nostalgia fuel once in a while. It doesn't necessarily have to be characters that you know and love from it, but just a a good product from a franchise he loved.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there hasn't really been, anything that's really like snuck up on me and blown me away. I mean, I guess you could say, probably Andor after the first two episodes snuck up on me because, if you've been around here long enough, you know that I gave up watching that in the second episode and didn't look back until just before season 2 when we did the rewatch here on the channel and on Patreon. And that's really the last time something snuck up on me in Star Wars. Everything else I've sort of expected. For the most part, it's been letdowns more so than exceeds expectations. But like, I think, for me, as far as the Mandalorian goes, I think for me, it's more that it's got a low floor than a high ceiling. In that there's, I don't think it can be as bad as it would have to be to, make me regret going to a theater to see it. Like, is that certainly a possibility? Unfortunately, very much so. But I think the reality is that it'll be an enjoyable experience. Whether it's good or great or amazing is left to be decided. But to be worth it, to have gone and see it and have a fun time, I think the floor is very low on that one. Yeah, the ceiling is very high. I don't have that faith. I don't have that trust, just because of how the production cycle has gone. We've talked about how this was the season of a TV show. We've talked about the production schedule and how it's mostly just ADR voice acting from Pedro, and very little actual presence from him, and all of those things go into giving this a high and then the trailer, which did nothing but suck the wind out of any sales that this film had. It was at least progressing slowly and had a nice gentle breeze pushing the ship forward. That trailer to me just turned the wind all the way off, and the ship's sitting in the middle of the ocean waiting for something else. It did more damage than good, in my opinion. And I don't, it hurt it more. I think it's going to sort of like, this trailer is going to be sort of, I don't want to say a tempest in a teapot, but it's going to be an anomaly, hopefully, when it's all said and done. And we'll be like, man, that was a horrible trailer for a decent movie. I hope that's the case, but the realist in me says this could go horribly, because it was a season of a TV show that you're cramming down into a movie. And, the story's already very awkward. And, if you lean too far into the aliens and the not the anime, but the CG and, and leave behind some of the human elements that are necessary to make Star Wars, then there could be a lot left to be desired in this movie. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful. I don't want to, have a bad movie experience, but I know that it's real. I know that it's possible. I mean, as Sean and I've said, we've seen some stinkers in the theaters in our time. Sean dragged me to see that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. Probably the worst movie. Well, I can't say that. I went to a drive-in as a younger me, and one of the movies on the bill was Open Water, and we actually left the drive-in theater while that movie was on. But like, it's, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it could be, but I don't expect this to, I don't expect this to be a top 5 Star Wars film of all time. I don't expect this to be a, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't come out of this film thinking, man, this is a bottom 3, and still at least have a good experience, because even if it's bad, it can still be good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Your tangent's gone too long when you're talking about leaving the drive-in, watching Open Water. My God. I think I'll take that Elm Street remake over that. And let's not forget, we've seen Rise of Skywalker together, and I'll take Elm Street remake over that movie as well. So
Damn.
I don't know about that, but
yeah. Let's be real here. Let's call a spade a spade.
I'll say this: could it be a surprise hit or surprise me in many different ways? Of course it can. But I'm gonna say this: I would be happy if we got essentially, and be happy if we get Skeleton Crew over the Acolyte in terms of quality, because at least, and I think we can all agree, we had some fun with Skeleton Crew. It may have not been the best Star Wars thing they put out. Obviously, we've seen Andor season 2, so we know what the pinnacle is. But if we can get something around at least what Skeleton Crew was, in terms of just entertainment value, I think it's a success in that respect, because the one thing we got to remember, this is them attempting to get the casual fan to come to the theater to see a Star Wars movie, which is why Grogu is plastered everywhere, because everybody knows Baby Yoda, regardless if they've seen The Mandalorian or not. And I think that's kind of what their marketing ploy is at this point. And if it works, awesome. And it could be the biggest pile of shit we've ever seen, but they got people in the seats. I mean, it happened with The Rise of Skywalker. So, but honestly, truthfully, I'm excited for it, just because the opportunity to go back to theaters and have this experience with like-minded people again for the first time in so long. I'm just going to go in with an open mind and just enjoy it for what it is. And then upon my second watching of it, then I'll just tear it apart if it really deserves it.
Skeleton Crew was fun, and I wouldn't be against more of stuff like that, but it also didn't give me that feeling that I'm talking about, that magical Star Wars feeling. It was fun.
That's going to be Starfighter. You know that.
I hope so. I never assumed that we're going to get anything like that, because it's just a hard feeling to come by these days. It's more rare than it is common. But yeah, Tommy, last topic, man. Anything else you want? Oh, Tommy is gone. He's like, fuck this shit. Fuck your last topic and fuck you. I'm out.
Not even a goodbye in the chat.
There he is.
Yeah, he's back. I guess we should go fuck ourselves. Tommy P, last fandom topic of yours for this evening. We'll go around the table one more time. Yeah, we can exit you after this one. I know you got to go, but the rest of us will go one more time.
Last topic. What's the last book you read that was fandom related?
I am currently listening on Audible to the rise of Lord Vader, I believe it's called. They did a unabridged, updated version of that, so you get the full book, and that's been good, because the one I was listening to before that, Rogue Planet, which takes place after Phantom Menace, and even though it has Anakin and Obi-Wan heavily in it, and even Tarkin in it, is one of the worst written Star Wars books I've ever read and or listened to, and I was unable to finish. I tapped out. That rarely happens. I tapped out on that and that Windu book too. I know you did the Windu book, Tommy, but I couldn't get into
that
it.
was my last one that I went through, and I did enjoy it. It did get better from my perspective. I enjoyed it, but anywho, yeah, I asked y'all a question. I don't know if I can answer. Unfortunate. What do you guys think?
So for me, because we had brought it up multiple times and talked about it, I decided to sit down and reread Shadows of the Empire, just because we had it. We talked about it so much that I just kind of got interested in it again. Even re-listened to the soundtrack for and tried to take it in as for the first time I've ever listened to it, and was just blown away by how John Williams-esque it really was. But yeah, the book was a lot of fun. It's obviously when you play the video game, they cut out a lot, which is a good thing considering Shizor, seducing Leia and all that stuff in the book. So,
tell me about it. Wow, let me tell you, that Mr. Fabulous threesome, fucking Jimmy's in a tickle over there.
Nobody's tickling my jimmies.
Hey, now.
At least nobody on this panel.
They just did a new updated version for that too, for Audible. the full book unabridged. Mark Thompson full soundtrack. It's badass. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I can't believe how close they got with the Leia and Shizor stuff. Leia, that bitch.
I think the last book I read, it's one I've had on my list for the better part of a decade to read. I finally sat down and read Is This Legal? The inside story of the first UFC from the man who created it. It's Art Davies' biography. It was a fun read. It was interesting getting behind the scenes look at all of the stuff that went into the original UFC and the early days of it, and up through Zuffa buying it. It was a fun read. I got to learn a lot of stuff about the inner workings, in part of the Gracie family, which was an interesting thing I wasn't expecting when I started reading the book. But it was fun. I love those. I love my biographies. I'm more likely to read them than a lot of other things. I still need to sit down and read this year's Steve Barry novel. I'm behind on that. He's an author I read every year. The Cotton Malone book series is one I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of that. It's like it's your typical like Indiana Jones type character. Only he used to work for. He was a lawyer who worked for a Justice Department Black Ops group, which sounds crazy when you think about it, but it's that kind of book. It's your Tom Clancy, Indiana Jones. It's fun stuff. I love reading them. That's it. I'm waiting for the new Harry Potter Audible to come out because the idea of Hugh Laurie as Dumbledore excites me greatly.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it is a really great cast for that one.
That kills me with what they're doing with that because I want to listen to it. But here's my problem: is I've never read the books ever. And I'm excited for the TV series. And one of the most appealing parts about watching the TV series for me is the fact that I haven't read the books. So
No, totally. That's what I did with the movies. I watched the movies first, then did the books. So definitely wait till the series comes out, at least season 1, and then go to the book afterwards, just so you can. That way, you're not ruining the experience for yourself.
Yeah, it's where
I
right
was
now.
the opposite. I was read the books when they were new. Guy. I read the books the first time, I think in 2000. I think I read the first. I got for Christmas one year. I got the. I don't know if it was the hardcover first trilogy that is worth a ridiculous amount of money now. I got that as a kid for Christmas one year. Read them, and then bought all of the books as they came out, and now I have the soft cover thing I got at Costco a few years ago of the books, so I can still read them, and I've got them on my e-reader because they're all free.
Y'all got Costco up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Costco up here. We have 2 in the city here.
Yep.
Good.
I mean, not me. I got to drive forever to get to one, but yeah.
Yeah, you got nothing.
Love my Costco.
You got trees.
Any place I can get a $1.50 hot dog is just a beautiful
with a drink. With a drink.
With a drink, right? Like
Yeah,
I mean,
with
I
a
can
drink.
spend. It's like $7 to get a sausage,
gluten-free too.
drink, and a poutine that's like the biggest poutine you can get anywhere around here, and it's so fucking cheap. It's beautiful.
There, okay.
I haven't had poutine in
beautiful, man.
forever.
Oh, Costco, in my opinion, is the best of the sort of fast food types of poutine you can get. They do it right.
Oh,
They do
no.
of the fast food types.
No.
Who's better in the fast food type?
Harvey's by a country mile.
You are wrong, sir.
No.
Maybe before they got bought. Since they were bought by, I think, Burger King. No, it is not the same. Harvey's is not the same as it used to be.
I disagree. Harvey's poutine is great.
No.
The Costco poutine is
It's
okay.
New York fries.
It's not bad.
Like, it's no different than New York fries poutine.
Oh, yes. The gravy's completely different.
It really
You're
isn't.
killing me.
Really isn't.
You're one of those every chocolate milk
They're
tastes
the same.
type guys,
No, I'm
aren't
not.
you?
No, I am not. At least in part because I've known you for so long. I've had to sit through the college level courses you teach on the differences in chocolate milks. You know,
Damn right.
I've walked down a Walmart dairy aisle with you, dude. I know what it's like when you're looking at all of the different brands and talking about this one's a
Maybe
little
an
too.
old Walmart. New Walmart
Well,
sucks.
Yes, I mean, but like, you know, I've been down a dairy aisle with you where you're looking at all the different brands, like, no, that's not what I want. That one's a little too sweet. That one's too chocolatey. That one's not milky. Yeah, I've been through it with you many times. I know the differences in chocolate milk, if for no other reason than you've pounded them into my brain over the last nearly 30 years.
Tommy, here's a departing question for you, man. And I don't know if we followed up on this. It was just in my head lately. Especially with us talking about games. Yeah, this is going real good. Real good. Just so you know, when Johnny said the game... sorry, Johnny. I know I'm fucking ahead of you. My bad. But,
Well, I didn't say it was over. I just said we were stomping them, and we still might. This is only game 3.
This is the most squirrel moment I've seen.
I don't know what's
You know what?
going on.
Right?
And for
Let me
the same
say-
reason you said it's not over yet, it's not. This is still only the 5th.
except for one team has all the momentum and the other team sees the fucking train coming at them. It doesn't matter if you throw 100 and it's fucking straight all the time. That's my problem with that guy. Throw 100, great, but if there's no movement, people are going to hit it.
Yeah, well, I'll remind them they're still looking at a Savage game 5. They couldn't touch that guy with a fucking tennis racket.
Oh my god! So you went from
How
we're going to
good
take
no
it this to
one
it's going to go to game 5.
No, I'm saying if they get there, they are looking at Savage, and that man chewed them up and spit them out.
I thought we were talking about hockey at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, and then they decided, you know what? Even though this
Playoff
guy's only
baseball.
throwing 80 pitches, let's go
80.
burn the bullpen and breathe life back into the other team, which is exactly what they did. So yeah, Schneider's terrible with his bullpen, always has been.
I
He's
think
fucking
honestly, in
clueless.
that game, I think that was the right call.
Oh,
Keep them from seeing him a third time. Another run through with them seeing that pitch doesn't have the
Oh.
positive effect.
Well, if he's going to start game 5, they're going to see it again now, aren't they?
Yeah, but that'll be in game 5.
Oh my
So,
god!
Sean, you had a parting question for Tommy?
I did.
By the way,
You were
most recent fandom books, audio
You were-
books. I went through all 5 of the Hunger Games series.
no thanks.
That stuff gets dark. It gets dark. Like, they're often sold as kids, but they are not children's books. Mm-mm. No.
That does
No.
not surprise me.
You were a Kingdom Hearts guy. Wasn't there a new Kingdom Hearts game that came out? Did you ever get a chance to play that?
Kingdom Hearts 3 or
Hasn't
Kingdom
been a
Hearts
new game
Melody
since 3.
Hearts?
How's there?
If it is, it's some sort of remaster, but 3 would be the most recent that I can remember.
Came out with Melody of Memories, I think is what it's called. I have not played it. It's like a music game where you press buttons and make music and I think and stuff like that. It's got like a little bit of story components to it, but it was never something of interest. It's not like an RPG in the same way that the other main installments of the franchise are. There, as is common for Kingdom Hearts, there has been a Kingdom Hearts 4 announced for several years now, but it's going to take them forever and a day to make it.
1 and 2 are excellent.
I'll take it. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is one of those game series that they announce it and then they just do it, and that's
3
it. You don't
could be better.
hear
There was-
about it again until. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get Tommy B out of here, man. Thanks for coming by. I know it was a bit of an open slate tonight, but it was fun to just sort of sit here and talk about whatever.
Sure. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Well, night, I guess. Night. The
Take
day.
it easy, buddy.
You too, man.
This team just can't fucking stop the bleeding. It's like watching the Maple Leafs. It's brutal. I've watched way too, specifically of Toronto sports teams. I've watched way too much to know to get too hyped too early there's a choke factor with these teams.
You're talking to a Mets fan. I know all about it.
Oh yeah, no. How's that contract working out for you guys, by the way? Randy, anything else you want to bring to the table tonight?
So, to kind of steer us back into spooky season, got me thinking. Usually, every October, what I do is I try to watch something horror related every day, whether it be a movie, a TV series, stuff on YouTube. I love the paranormal shit, so I always watch stuff like that. So, my question for the two of you, I would have asked Tommy, but obviously he can't be here now. We're going to take out the big three. We're going to take out Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street. What is your go-to horror movie for October? And like I said, you're taking out the big three.
I mean, for me, it doesn't have to just be October. It can be any time of the year. It's The Shining, which I think is the greatest piece of horror ever made. So,
Yeah, I agree. I remember doing that for one of my watches last year, and I was really impressed with it, considering now I'm kind of old enough to understand a lot of what Kubrick was trying to portray in the movie. So
yeah, that's one of those movies where you have to be watching in like the right type of setting. I don't think going to a movie theater to watch The Shining is the way to go. I don't think watching it in broad daylight with the sun coming through your windows is the way to go, or with 10,000 people around. To me, you want to watch The Shining with, like, you're either by yourself or with one other person, or maybe it's a double date night or whatever. No more than that. And you want phones away, lights off, and just allow yourself to be into the movie, if you will.
I mean, for me, there isn't really any like go-to for sure's. I'll cycle through a lot of different ones. This year so far, I've watched a handful so far this year already. I started with the first Child's Play movie because those were big for me growing up. I like them. I enjoy them up until you get to the ones made like in the late 90s. Anything after Bride of Chucky is terrible. But up to that point, I enjoyed them. But like for me, the big one, the one I probably watch every year, is probably the Saw franchise. It's one I really like. I really enjoy. I got hooked on the first one and stuck through the bad in the middle, and have come out the other end with more good. So that's a franchise I can go back to and rewatch, because even having seen them as many times as I have, I'm still noticing new things in them, because they're so, at least in the early ones, are so interwoven within each other that you're noticing new things. I'm rewatching it and I'm seeing characters that I've never noticed before that are in other movies that are part of the story that I'm like, oh shit, I never noticed you there before, type thing. Seeing characters in the background, and I enjoy the story, and obviously, John, in my opinion, John Kramer is one of the best castings. His voice, Tobin Bell's voice is just so terrifying in a good way, that just hearing, him do the tape recordings and stuff in all the movies just always sort of gives me that, puts me in the right headspace right away. When you hear his voice early in these films, right away, it's like, okay, this is going to be good. I'm here for this. Like, even as far as the franchise go, I don't know if either of you ever played it. There was a Saw video game back in like the PS3 era. And I remember getting that and playing it and enjoying it. And it included, story elements. So you actually got parts of the movies and expanded on some of those stories from the movies that you didn't get in the movies, which I loved. The second game was shit. Terrible. Awful. I refuse to acknowledge it exists most times. But, it's a franchise I can go back to and rewatch every year.
All right. So for me, Since I got to exclude the big three, the ones that I definitely always go back to, especially during spooky season, is the Evil Dead franchise. Uh, I've loved that series. I even watch Ash versus Evil Dead, and I even like I would say, I guess it's more of a reimagining, because I can't really say a reboot or remake, but the Fede Alvarez movie that was absolutely stellar. I love the use of practical effects in that movie. And that's one of the things that's always been cool about Evil Dead is it's always been a franchise that really leaned heavily on practical effects, which is something that we don't see as much today as we used to. But obviously, pop culture, loving some Bruce Campbell, loving some Ash, and I like the fact that they're continuing on with new stories in the franchise that maybe they're not all, maybe they're just set in the same universe, or maybe there's a multiverse, who knows, but it's still a lot of fun. And if it fulfills my gore quotient very easily, and you can't go wrong with a little Hail to the King.
Love me the Evil Dead franchise. I haven't rewatched them recently enough. I need to, actually. Now that you're talking about it, I'm realizing it's been a few years since I've seen them, so I'm gonna add them to this year's list. That's for sure.
They're not adult movies, but being I have 3 kids, the Halloween Town movies are always a go-to for us every year, and we have fun. We've gotten 2 down, 2 more. The 2 better ones, obviously, are the first 2, but we've watched those 2. We got 2 more to go. We've also watched a couple of Halloween Scooby-Doo movies. I wish I could say we've had time for more so far.
Isn't every Scooby-Doo a Halloween movie at its core?
No, I mean, there's some big. For example, Zombie Island was arguably the biggest Scooby-Doo animated movie they did, and that's a go-to for us each year. That's a really good one, and I don't remember the name of the other one that the kids watched, but
it's kind of 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
I do remember that. Yes,
love that one. Vincent Price. There's a voice that gets you ready for spooky season.
Damn straight.
That being said, I think we're gonna call it a show here before the Yankees end up being up 20-6 at this point. That 6-1 lead was a long time ago. So let's wind things down. Tomorrow night we have Ahsoka, penultimate episode of season 1. And I'm not gonna lie, I remember how the season finale ends. I don't remember a whole lot of whatever happens in this next episode. So looking forward to it. Tomorrow night, probably. Actually, I guess tomorrow would probably be around 10, right, fellas?
Well, with Dynamite happening tonight, we might be able to even go a little earlier. I guess it depends on you two.
So we'll figure it out, and it'll be a Patreon exclusive anyways until we get to the season finale. Big thank you, as always, to our channel sponsors, Ryan over at Colleague Nation, Jason over at Backtrack Cinema, and Jesse at Jesse's Storytime Spectacular, as well as our patrons. We appreciate each and every one of you. Johnny, where can everybody find you at, man?
Oh, you can find me here, there, and everywhere.
Randy?
Over on X at Gady Giles. Obviously here every week. Last night, I joined you guys over on Banner and Banter for a little Ahsoka talk and a little Game of Thrones talk. So got to keep your eyes peeled on Mondays. And week 5 is in the books, the NFL season. The Sports Brew crew is going to be recording tonight once I'm done here. And if you're interested in people just having a good time, drinking, talking shit, talking sports, and just having a grand old laugh, Google Sports and Brew, you find us, no problem.
Also, recommendation for everyone out there, if you're a sports fan or you just love a good actor in a project, Glenn Powell and Chad Powers, that's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's the Disney Plus formula of, I think episode 1 was 42 minutes, and the last episode was like 24 minutes. So there's some of that's going on, but Glenn Powell's performance in it is just spectacular. Jade and I have been laughing our asses off. I feel like I like this guy and everything he's in. Anyways, though, that is going to do it for us, and we will see each and every one of you